Labour Party in Kaduna State has debunked rumours that its governorship candidate Jonathan Asake has stepped down for the PDP governorship candidate, that's Issa Ashiru. The party's governorship candidate Jonathan Asake and the National Secretary Umar Farouk say the party is not in alliance with any party in the state. They enjoined Kaduna residents to come out en masse to vote for Labour Party come March the 11th.
I want to clarify this here, that it is not true. It is complete lies fabricated to undermine the Labour Party and my candidature by the PDP. There is no such time that I have been contacted, or my party, the Labour Party, for the purpose of an alliance or stepping down. And so I want to clarify today that the Labour Party and all its organs in the state, from the state to the local government, to the wards and to the polling units, is fully prepared for the March 11 elections.
Kaduna State have had series of religious crises, which has been instigated by politicians. The candidacy of Jonathan Asake is a candidacy that is going to bring unity to Kaduna State. It's going to bring peace and harmony and sincerity of purpose, progress, and for the collective interest of the people of Kaduna State. So we call on all peace-loving Kaduna State residents to come out en masse on 11th March to vote for Jonathan Asake and the Labour Party House of Assemblies.
Well, we have with us now Jonathan Asake, and he will be telling us all by himself his affiliation with any other party aside his Labour Party, under which he's vying for the governorship seat in Kaduna State. He will also share with us his manifesto and chances in the race. Good to have you on Newsday. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, it looks, from what we understand, you haven't been approached and you've not accepted any alliance, and you won't be stepping down for the PDP. But there are some allegations or rumors, whichever you'd prefer to call them, that are saying that the APC is giving you 100 million naira to remain in the race. Just wondering if you'd like to clear this up.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. Honestly, I was surprised, but not quite surprised, because I know in our claim here, some people will go the extra mile or will overshoot their own way in the name of politics. I just heard it on radio, just like any other person, that I, as a candidate of the Labour Party in Kaduna State, have stepped down for the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. It is not true. We have never had any time that they approached me for any negotiation, and the People's Democratic Party at no time have approached my own party, the Labour Party, for a discussion of such. And so it is a lie. It is outright falsehood, and I am still in the race, and my party is prepared and ready to take it on Saturday, the 11th.
Right, thank you so much for clarifying that.
And of course you ask...
Go ahead. Yes, please do.
Yeah, I have not clarified the next one. The next one is the same lie, still again in the same line with the first, that I have collected money from the APC. Why will I collect money from the APC? For what purpose? But let me just say it here that I have not collected one dime from any political party or a member of any political party, especially a political party that I am set to contest against. And if any one of them making such allegation has any evidence that there is a thing like that, should step forward. I challenge in public and say it. So there is nothing like that. It's all campaign of calumny, blackmail, and falsehood. And I don't know why the PDP is so jittery. It's so afraid to go into the next context. They pride themselves as having made it very well in the presidential election. But we in the Labour Party also sat back. We went to our situation room and we took our observations on what happened on that fateful Saturday of the 25th in the presidential and National Assembly elections. And we saw the loopholes. We saw what went wrong. We saw what went wrong even with INEC and what went wrong with us. And we have taken steps to address all those loopholes. So they know we are ready. And that is why they are afraid to face the Labour Party in Kaduna State. They know we have the organic followership. And they know, by the grace of God, we will win this election. That's why they want, it's a wishful thinking that they want this alliance or the stepping down, and so they cannot get it, so they have resorted to this cheap blackmail and cheap propaganda. It's unfortunate.
Right now, still keeping in line with some of the tactics that you are alleging to be used by the PDP, your National Publicity Secretary did speak out and say that there have been threats on your life and the lives of members of your team from the PDP as well as we count down to this election. Can you give us more insight into some of what you've been going through, aside from the media side and the propaganda side, in terms of your security, what are some of your experiences that you faced?
You see, even some of our supporters have been, threatened, harassed. When this chief propaganda of our alliance with the PDP went viral on social media and other conventional media, some of our supporters also followed up with the counter propaganda to tell the world that it is not true. And they were bringing out issues that are wrong with the party, why the party is only wishing that another party steps down for them before they can go into contest. And so they started issuing out threats. In fact, one of my supporters in ICT had to, go into hiding because he was being threatened. And that is how they have been threatening, our supporters. You may recall the issue of late Mrs. Victoria Chimtex that was killed in cold blood in Kaura local government, our women leader. And that aroused the anger of the supporters, and even people that were not supporters of the Labour Party decided to join the Labour Party in that local government. And little wonder, that local government, the Labour Party swept everything in that local government because they protected their votes. In fact, a member of the House of Representatives that has been there for over 20 years was removed by the Labour Party. In fact, so the Labour Party won that local government. So you can see that the more these threats are being issued against the Labour Party and our candidature, the more this campaign of calumny and senseless blackmail and outright falsehood is being issued, the more the sympathy is coming into our side. And that is why we know that the people of Kaduna State are ready to just bring about this change. And also, they have listened to us. They have listened to our messages. We have gone around, we have campaigned in all the 23 local governments of the state. We have gone around in all the 255 wards of the state. We have gone around, and the people have heard our messages. We bring messages of hope. We talk to the issues. We don't start criticizing any other person. No, we say this is a problem, and we provide solutions. We key into the style of campaigning of our principal, Mr. Peter Obi. So the difference is just clear. And so they are resorting to all this cheap blackmail. It's unfortunate.
Well, thank you, Mr. Asake. Well, what are you Do you have any concerns when it comes to the fact that we have 9 parties that have endorsed the Kaduna PDP candidate? Are you faced by this in any way?
Oh, we don't have any concern at all. When somebody says he wants to, there's a Hausa proverb that says, when somebody says he wants to give you a shirt, check the one on his body. Most of these parties, check their profile, check what is their impact. In the last elections that we had, I'm not saying, well, sometimes it is for the media hype that you can just come out and say, oh, 10 political parties have joined us. We have had several political parties that have approached us and we've been talking together. But we know that is not where the problem is. The problem is not in coming out to tell people that 15 political parties are working with you. The real issue is the followership. And I'm telling you, even with the last presidential and National Assembly elections, the mood on the ground in Kaduna State is different from even the results we saw. The mood is different. And I believe it also the same. It's ditto for on the national stage. The mood of Nigerians, of the outcome of the presidential election, is actually different from what we saw. But time will tell. Only time will tell.
Now, earlier you had made some reference to the fact that you've gone into your situation room and you've studied some of the things that may have gone wrong at the presidential election for Kaduna State, for the Labour Party in Kaduna State specifically. Of course, I know you wouldn't let the cat out of the bag, but I'm curious to know what challenges you feel you need to overcome that might win you those votes that you would have needed for the presidential election.
Well, actually, the first one is that the messages from INEC that we all had in our own innocent hearts, we believed everything INEC was telling us about beavers, about going there to vote, and that the votes will be transmitted immediately from that polling unit to a central server. That never happened. And because of that, we believe that, well, we do not have the strength to have our agents in every polling unit. In Kaduna State, we have 812 polling units spread across the 23 local governments of the state. And some of those polling units are far detached and in some of the local governments, especially with the challenge of insecurity. So the resources to be able to organize those areas and have our agents present in those areas and really take care of them so that they can protect our votes were not really sufficient. But we tried to the largest extent. But we believe that if there is going to be a direct transmission, as INEC told us, then we really didn't have to care much about that. But we found out that, oh, the reverse was the case. We were back to the same thing that we have been doing. And we found out that what happened gave room for manipulation. That if you don't have an agent or an agent that is not well trained, then outrightly your votes can go to another party because you are not represented. So that was a great challenge. And then, of course, we know certainly that the central server ceased to work. And so we are studying that if these things will not work, then we go back to where we are coming from so that everybody can go back to the analog stage that we are coming from. We thought we are going to the digital stage, and alas, it was not there.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Asake. Now, there are opinions out there that, you're from Southern Kaduna, and people from the region seem to be saying that you're going to split PDP votes in that region and you don't have a chance of winning the APC. So I'm just wondering, are you saying that when it comes to a potential alliance, that is cast in stone, that it's something you would not consider in spite of this reality?
This is a fallacy. This is a kind of campaign of deceit that has been going on, especially with the PDP. Now, let me tell you, traditionally, from 1999 up to this time, of course, I was there. I was a foundation member of the PDP. Of course, I won election to the House of Representatives in 1999. And so the PDP started with me. And coming from the southern part of the state, from 1999 till today, till the time that the Labour Party emerged, the southern part of the state has always been voting en bloc for the PDP. And so from 1999 to 2015, every governor that ever was in Kaduna State of the PDP had the block votes of Southern Kaduna. And I can tell you also that in 2019, the PDP scored the highest votes in the nation, about 800,000 votes in the whole nation. It came from Kaduna State, not from Rivers, not from Kano, not from Lagos, but from Kaduna State, courtesy the block votes of Southern Kaduna. And of course, you will see that from that year, 1999, to 2019 and to 2000 and to today, the PDP has not thought it well enough to zone the position to that part of the state that has been given the block votes for them to win election. And so the Labour Party has graciously done that and given this ticket to the southern part. And across the state, those that love justice and equity across the state, not only from the south, have keyed into this and have decided to move to the Labour Party, to move their support to the Labour Party. And that is what you can see. And I say, except for those lapses that I have said earlier, you would have seen the votes that would have come from the Labour Party in the last election. But because we are prepared, because we are ready, we know what will happen in the next election. And I think that is what is making the PDP to be so jittery and so unsettled that they have resorted to saying we have been in alliance when we have not even seen, we have not even spoken. And we are not even going into alliance because we believe that the people are ready to vote a new party in. That because of the messages that they have been hearing from us, they have that trust in us that we are going to tackle the challenges that they are facing. And we have a myriad of those challenges in this state.
Right, thank you for your firm position on that. Now, another concern is that we've seen a trend where political parties are using religious sentiment in order to woo voters. Now, of course, we're all aware of the crisis that is currently ongoing in the state, especially in southern Kaduna. And now, doesn't this create unnecessary tension? Isn't this a dangerous precedent to set?
Of course, the religious politics, especially in this part of the state, has always been there. But the unfortunate one this time around is that I can tell you the names of the people that are playing these roles, that have taken the partisan issues we're having into the church. And who are they? Of course, the platform of CAN is used. And the CAN leadership in the state, the chairman of CAN is openly partisan. The chairman of CAN in the state is openly partisan. He is of the PDP. He was a special advisor, religious matters, in the PDP government, and he's still in the PDP. So it is not surprising that he can mobilize the machinery of the church and tell them the narrative that will scare the people. And what is that narrative? That if a vote is given to the Labour Party, that the Labour Party cannot win, and it will just enhance the chances of the APC, knowing how the people of Kaduna State want the APC government out. But that was reiterated today by the gubernatorial candidate of the PDP. the gubernatorial candidate of the PDP today on Arise News clearly said that the people of Southern Kaduna wasted their votes in the last election. Oh, it's unfortunate. Wasted votes with about 300,000 votes, with all the irregularities. You say wasted votes. 2 members of the House of Representatives that have been sitting there tight from 2003 were removed by the Labour Party. Wasted votes is unfortunate. But we are going to show how votes are wasted on the 11th of March.
Right. Now, of course, you've alluded to what the PDP candidate had to say this morning about Governor El-Rufai and the APC. What is your position concerning the APC and Governor El-Rufai?
Well, my own position, let me say even the general position on, in the state, the general mood that during the APC government, a lot of the people in Kaduna State were groaning every day. Every day was a very long day. The spate of insecurity, kidnappings, name it. And of course, businesses were demolished. In fact, small business owners had to relocate to other states or even outside the countries. Investors stayed away, particularly because of the challenge of insecurity, that no solution was found. And of course, the sacking of workers. 21,000 teachers were sacked, civil servants, and most of them, their entitlements have not been paid up to this very day. So the general mood today in the state is that the APC government has actually caused a lot of suffering for the people of Kaduna State, and they don't wish to have that repeat again. They are looking for something new. But there's something new to them, to most of the people, cannot come from the PDP, because the PDP and the APC seem to be one and the same. They seem to be 6 and half a dozen. Why am I saying this? It's the same people moving back and forth, you know. And so the Labour Party, and of course looking at the candidates themselves, like I said earlier, the messages, when you have said there is a problem, you prefer a solution. We have always preferred solutions to the problems that we're seeing.
Thank you, Mr. Asake. Now, your optimism is admirable, but in the event that things don't go the way you anticipate come March 11th, what's next for you?
Well, if things don't go, I'm always aware that in a competition, whether you are 100 or 1,000 or 2, only one will emerge as winner. And every man or woman that takes part in the competition has to have that at the back of his mind. And that is what I have at the back of my mind. In the last election, most Nigerian, I can tell you, over 80% of Nigerians were expecting the Labour Party candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, to emerge as the president-elect. But it didn't turn out that way. All hell has not broken loose. What we are just doing is to resort to the next line of action, to approach the courts. That is what is done in an organized society governed by the rule of law. And so if things don't turn out the way we are expecting in Kaduna State, we'll go the same way depending on how the issue is. But most of all, we will sit back and we will plan for the next election. We will sit back and strengthen our party. We have found out that the organs of our party, the structures in our party are weak. We will strengthen them, ready for the next election. And I think that is what is supposed to be done in any democratic environment. And that's what we're ready to do.
And of course, in preparation for this election, earlier you did refer to the fact that there were some loopholes, for example, the BVAS that you thought, would work as it had been promised that it would. In this case, let's talk about external influences. Do you feel that Governor El-Rufai or the APC have the potential to interfere in this election in Kaduna State?
In Nigeria, everything is possible. Even things that you think are not possible, they appear to be possible. So the claim in Nigerian situation is when somebody says good morning, sometimes you have to come out and look at the position of the sun. So if they say that there was an influence by the governor or the APC government, because we have this thing called the power of incumbency that we have carried as a mentality in Nigeria, and we have given it so much position that it influences virtually everything. And sometimes, even if it doesn't influence, we believe it has influenced. So I cannot say outrightly that there was influence, but I can say that the beavers machine deliberately did not work in some places. In fact, some places, the wrong beavers was taken to some of the polling units. Before they could dictate, it was late. And in some of the places, the beavers shut down. The beavers could not even accredit. So some of the voters. So many things. We have actually studied those challenges. And I am using this opportunity to still call on INEC that please, they will help this country to improve democracy.
Absolutely.
By doing the right thing.
So I just want to clarify, I know you've spoken on the last election, but we just have 30 seconds. So do you foresee outside influences, specifically from Governor El-Rufai, on March 11th?
Well, truly speaking, we are all afraid of his influences. We are all afraid of it. But we have told our teaming supporters that they should be on guard. We just like, you know, that whatever you think, whether you think there are criminals around or thieves that will invade your home, or they should not, but it's to keep your guard. And so we're keeping our guard because we know it is always possible.
Well, Labour Party governorship candidate in Kaduna State, Mr. Jonathan Asake, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. We wish you well ahead of the March 11th polls. Thank you.